You know who's really looking forward to this Kanye album? Drake. Who's also dropping an album soon, and we know they have their issues. I love it. This should be pretty entertaining. I love
Nadeska's
it.
on
I
it.
love it.
Nadeska's on it.
I can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have locked into Rap Life. We're going to talk to Low Key. We're going to talk to Nadeska. What are the most important conversations that are going on in hip-hop right now, as well as run through some of the hottest songs on the playlist. So y'all keep it locked right here. This is Rap Life. Did you see the way this Normani Cardi B video is moving around out here, B?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, yo, talk about Normani just storming in with this record and the video, the visuals. I think people are so refreshed to see like dancing that's not necessarily stripper dancing, but actual choreography.
You're right. When I looked at it, something seemed off and I couldn't really put my finger on it, but it must have been the actual choreography.
You were like, hark, there's actual dancing going on here.
That was popular when I was a kid. You remember the days of TRL? Choreography was amazing. But yo, I'm excited for Normani. It feels like she's finally stepping into her moment. I saw a lot of her team celebrating. Like, they put a lot of effort behind that song too. They said it's Baby's first pop single. The Cardi feature is a great look. And Cardi also seems really supportive too. So I'm happy for her. I hope this is the start of like a big year for Normani.
I've been waiting and rooting for Normani for a long time. You know, not only because she's talented and a cool young lady, but also because I don't think in music we've ever seen an individual, an artist like Normani. Coming from the Fifth Harmony pop group, which was like a multi-ethnic pop group, and then this artist who is also black, having a kind of pop fan base, but going out to make black music. Like Beyonce and Destiny's Child went mainstream and they went pop, but it was, you know, it started as an R&B black music group that ended up going mainstream. This version, I don't think we've ever seen this before. Okay, Celebrating Legends Verzuz is on the way. This is a dream come true for our brother Low. The Lox versus Dipset. This is his era. Tell us what this means for the culture, Low.
I mean, like, I can go so many different directions, and I've been having so many different conversations when I've been out about this, you know, particular battle. From the mixtape records, from the album cuts, from the features, from the remixes, from the solo cuts, to the group cuts, to the album cut. It's so many different places we can go. And I have a big responsibility in the next 2 weeks to make this huge cheat sheet between the two of these magnificent groups from New York City. So you got to think who I'm including. I'm including verses from Jay-Z's album, verses from Biggie's album, verses from Puff's album, verses from just their albums, verses from mixtapes. Wow. I have like a lot on my head right now. You know,
are you stressed out? You got anxiety.
I'm overwhelmed for you just hearing that. If you paid me $1 million, I would not be able to put together the cheat sheet for this. So bless you. But I know that you're the man for the job.
I'm having more fun with it because I'm looking online and I'm seeing Styles P, I'm seeing Jadakiss, I'm seeing Cam, I'm seeing Jim Jones just go back and forth at each other.
Styles and Jim is going hard.
Styles and Jim are on each other's head. It's every other hour. It's a new post. Them talking shit. And this is why I love Verzuz. This is what I wanted from Verzuz. I want the healthy, competitive spirit talking shit between two of the best groups in hip hop, not only in New York City. And then to cap it all off, you put it in Madison Square Garden. You put it on the biggest stage in America to let people know how big hip hop is and how big these two artists are. So now I'm gonna get into my personal opinion of who's going to win this epic battle.
I told y'all this dude was ready for this combo right here.
When are we actually getting the cheat sheet?
That's what I wanted to say, Nadeska. He's already falling off.
Making excuses here.
No, I'm not making excuses. I'll say it right here. I'll say it right now. We will have the cheat sheet by this Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to work on it all week. And I don't want anyone to have any personal feelings or any, saltiness. I believe the Diplomats are going to win this battle between Jim, Cam, and Jewels and their group efforts and their remixes and their features, I believe that these guys are going to take Madison Square Garden on their back and they're going to take New York City and just blow this up. Not to say, lyrically, the Lox blow them out the water.
You telling me that Benjamins can't save the Lox?
I'm not saying Benjamins can't save the Lox. I know Benjamins will be a point. But when Dipset Anthem comes on, when Certified Gangster comes on, when Welcome to New York City comes on, when Old Boy comes on, when Hey Ma comes on.
They got anthems, man.
When Santana's Town comes on, when Crunk Music comes on, when 357 comes on, when Let Me Know comes on. You know what I mean? Like when all these records
I really mean it. When I really mean it
comes on.
Oh, God.
What's Really Good comes on. I Built This City comes on.
Damn.
When Cam and Wayne Touch It or Not
comes on.
When Touch It or Not comes on.
When Wet Wipes comes on. Like, listen, the Lox got it. I love the Lox lyrically. They manslaughter. The Diplomat. Manslaughter.
But you know it's gonna go. But don't play around when that everywhere we go.
No.
People wanna know.
I'm not playing around with none of that. When Wild Out comes on, when Banned from TV comes on, when All for the Love comes on, I know it. Trust me, the Lox got joints. But the Dips, they represent New York City like no other, from here to Paris to Zimbabwe, all the way back to 145th. I'm telling you.
I hate to spoil all this positive energy that you guys have, but Kanye West got an album coming out.
I'm hyped. I'm ready. Let's go. It's time. It's time. I know you thought I didn't want to talk about this,
here's the real question.
Let's go.
Wait, here's the question. Allegedly, it's the Donda album. We're going to find out this week. They had a listening for it, or actually, no, I think it's confirmed that it is the Donda album. Mm-hmm. There was a listening this week. We saw a video with Tyler, the Creator, and Kanye West. We're seeing tweets about a Travis Scott Kanye. We're seeing that there's clearly a Pusha Kanye on there, a Baby Keem Kanye, and some other things. Does this album have the ability to redeem Kanye West, Nadeska?
It could, if it's dark, twisted fantasy level, but that's not what I'm expecting from this album. So I think maybe just 2 snippets leak. Obviously, you can't really judge a whole album just based on the snippets. But I've had a change of heart. Instead of being upset by Kanye's antics all the time and being disappointed in the music, I am going to lean into all of the antics. I want us to feel like we're getting back to some sense of normalcy in this world. And Kanye just going and saying, on the internet, he's back on Instagram as well, whatever antics he's going to be up to, I just want to watch it, enjoy it, and have low expectations for the music, but be pleasantly surprised. So he could redeem himself. I'm just not going into it expecting that he will. That's just too much for me to look forward to as a once, deeply passionate Kanye fan.
I can't forget the image of him jumping up and soft shoeing around Donald Trump's desk and hugging Donald Trump and calling Donald Trump like his father and all of those shenanigans. Like, that is tough for me to erase. But while I can go, okay, I seen you act completely nuts and play yourself, I can also say these things happen. You got outside yourself. Let's see if for the next chapter you can reel it back in. So I'm like you, Nadeska. I'm hoping for the best, expecting the worst.
Yep. I don't think he can redeem himself. Just how? It's been too much and too long. Him running for president when we needed to get this man out of the White House. Just everything he did, I just feel like I'm going to compartmentalize that and just see how this plays out. But I just don't see a world in which I can ever look at him the way I used to. That to me is just forever gone. And I can tell from Low-Key's face that we're probably being generous with our thoughts on this next version of Kanye. What would you like
to say here?
I'm trying to take on this new mentality of, if I don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So, I'm just going to leave it at that. We're supposed to get the project this week. It's supposed to be,
So you're not excited to hear, Kanye and Pusha T go line for line?
No. I don't have faith musically in Kanye anymore.
What about the production? I would say this. I'm hoping that some of the production's great and that some of the features, like I love Tyler. I'm hoping Tyler's really featured. I'm excited that Keem is on this album. I know that Keem really, really looks up to him. So I'm hoping, Pusha never disappoints. So I'm looking forward to the features over hopefully great production. But like the Kanye content of it, the things he has to say, I don't think I'm going to care about any of his thoughts.
I don't know who's been in the room with Kanye is a phenomenal producer. Kanye is a phenomenal creator and great at aggregating the right individuals into the space to create a body of art, right? A piece of art.
Right.
And at his greatest, the individuals that were in and around that, those individuals aren't in Kanye's orbit any longer. And that's some of why the musical change took place. If we come to learn that there were individuals in and around the creation of this music, because one of the problems that I've had with Kanye is over the last several projects since Pablo, really, and Pablo, it kind of started, if you listen to it, there was like this unfinished nature of the records. Like the songs felt abstract and unfinished. And on Pablo, it was kind of like, oh, okay, he's doing it to be like to try something different. But then it continued on to where I was listening to songs and just the way the songs were put together, I was like, this doesn't sound cohesive. This doesn't sound like it was arranged or thought out. And in a way, disjointed and abstract as he's trying to like forge and Kanye, he's always trying to find a new path, right? So he's throwing things out and seeing what sticks and seeing what people go to and gravitate to, because as a producer, clearly he wants to have people respond well to the content he produces. So I think that's a piece of what you guys if we move the politics and shenanigans aside, or let's imagine a space where the politics and shenanigans outside the music were taking place, but the records were still so phenomenal and undeniable. But they weren't. Which is, and that's why I'm peeling back the layers as you guys, after you guys said what you said, is because that is what you've lost faith in. His ability to deliver a cohesive body of work with well thought out songs, structure, and things that we used to get from him.
That is well articulated, because let me try to refresh my memory. It's been a long time, because Pablo is the album that he uploaded and then continued editing while it was already streaming, right? And then Yeezus, I think I remember Rick Rubin talking about him hearing that album and realizing it was nowhere near finished at like the deadline. It was just pieces of a project that he had to put together.
Yeezus happened before Pablo. It went Yeezus and then Pablo.
So at that point, it still seemed like a creative genius thing, because Yeezus caught us so off guard that we thought he was just really experimenting. So the Rick Rubin story, I was like, okay, that's interesting, but it's fine. It's just Kanye being Kanye. With Pablo, it also seemed kind of cool. I was like, I didn't know you could edit a project while it was live, but you're right. Now all of that, like the mystery behind it has fallen apart. And you're right. Now it just seems like he's giving us incomplete projects. So
and this is what I'm saying, like, based on what Ebro just broke down, perfectly, articulated it way, way better than I could ever. That's why, like, that's where my faith is lacking. Because it's like, you're not giving us a full body. You're not giving us a full thought. You're not giving us a full song. It's just like, all right, well, here, take this and see what y'all think of it. And if y'all don't like it, I'm going to add some stuff to it. It's just like, that's not the Kanye we know. We know Kanye from College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, complete thought, put together, just mended songs that meant so much to the culture. And these recent projects are just incomplete thoughts that he wants us to try to understand or attempt to understand. I just don't get it. I don't with it. So yeah, Ebro, you broke it down perfectly. I just don't have that faith that when I see a Kanye album being released, that I know it's going to be some put together in a way that another musician couldn't do. I don't have that faith in him anymore.
You know who's really looking forward to this Kanye album? Drake. who's also dropping an album soon, and we know they have their issues. I love it. This should be pretty entertaining. I love
Nadeska's
it.
on
I
it.
love it.
Nadeska's on it.
I can't wait.
You think we're gonna get them around the same time? Drake's gonna let Kanye go first and then swipe him, right?
Yeah, he's definitely gonna let him drop first. I hope he drops the following week or just changes it up and drops 2 days later. I'm here for all of this.
It's so funny, and I'm not trying to stir no up. I'm not trying to do none of that. But it's just so funny how we got all this conversation about how Drake's album is being mixed. It's complete. People are saying
that was last week.
That was last week.
And guess where that conversation was?
In Vegas.
In Vegas. Guess where Kanye was doing his listening?
That's a great point. In Vegas.
Speaking of albums, we got to salute Pop Smoke, the biggest album in Apple Music. There was talk. Look, this album has some incredible songs on it. Kanye West, Rick Ross, Pharrell on it, 21 Savage, Takeoff Future, Chris Brown, Kid Cudi, Quavo, Kodak Black, Pusha T, Ross Swish, which I love to see, and Dua Lipa.
That was Lo's favorite feature on the album.
Oh, wow. Why? Why'd that just happen? That was, ooh. I was just going to ask, do we think that they went too far putting Dua Lipa on a Pop Smoke album?
Honestly, rest in peace to Pop Smoke. I'm glad his legacy is still living and still getting the recognition it deserves. So that's first and foremost before I say anything. But I do believe that this project seems forced. It seems rushed. There was no promotion for it. There was nothing bringing attention to it. The lineup looks great. That's a star-studded lineup for a person like Pop Smoke to have all these big names on his album. Beautiful. This album should have been promoted more. I think we could have waited. We could have had a little bit more time to develop it, to promote it, whatever the case is. But yeah, I don't see why Dua Lipa is on Pop Smoke's album. I don't see why.
I actually disagree with the promotion and the timing part. I don't know the story behind the Dua Lipa thing and what value that brings to Pop Smoke's brand other than to show that he has transcended just, being a hip-hop icon. On the rush and the promotions part, it's always tough when it's a posthumous body of work, right? Because I remember when Life After Death with B.I.G. came out. And so there was still, even people, there were, as great as Life After Death is. Like, Life After Death is a phenomenal project from B.I.G.
Right.
Double album. Every single song on there is well put together. There's things that people like, there's things that people don't like. But even when you listen to Life After Death right now, it's fire, right?
It still resonates. It still sticks.
It's fire. When I listen to this project, what Pusha T and Kanye did on here, the 21 Savage joint, there was another one on there. The Rick Ross joint is fire. And then there's just some other just Pop Smoke records on there. I personally was surprised at how much content they still had left.
Yep.
So I guess because my expectation was different, I was like, wow, how are they going to do this? I actually love the place they got to when I listened to the project because I was impressed about how much music and song structure and hooks that he had because probably most of these things were ideas that he had started that hadn't got completed. And then they went in and maybe changed the producer or added this or, this, et cetera, et cetera. I actually believe coming off that last project, because we're in 2021, the last project dropped in 2019.
The last project dropped, because I'm looking at it right now, July 3rd of 2020.
That's so recent. That's crazy.
So this is my point. So now we're looking at Faith. So Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon came out July 3rd, 2020.
And then those songs played everywhere all day.
Yeah,
everywhere
since it dropped.
And then now we get this July 16th, 2021. I just don't think that's enough time for an artist of his stature to let these other songs from Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon to build. I think it feels rushed. It feels not incomplete, but it just doesn't feel right. I don't know. I don't know if I'm explaining it the right way, but I just don't feel
it sounds like what you're saying is you're still enjoying the last project, and you think everybody else is too. Plus, we were in the pandemic during the last project, so we didn't really get outside and really soak up the project. And now here's another project. But my rebuttal to that is the fact that consumption levels of his last project were very high. It was very successful. It's one of the most streamed albums in all the services, right? He's had #1 hit songs in the services. And honestly, this keeps the momentum. In my opinion, this keeps the conversation going. Salute to Pop Smoke's whole team, the whole family, and all the fans. Make sure you go stream that album. Available on Apple Music. I want to, as the old head on the show, I want to salute and thank Biz Markie. We lost the legend over the weekend. He was suffering with some health issues for, a long time. They say it was related to a decade-long battle with type 2 diabetes. And I know, I think in 2020, he had a stroke, actually, and has been trying to recover. He was 57 years old, and I know a lot of people out there, you know him from, oh, baby, you got one, and Just a Friend, da-da-da-da. And for those of us, like myself, in 87, I'm 12 years old, right? So 87, 88, I'm 13 years old. Biz Markie, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, KRS-One, Public Enemy. I'm sure I'm leaving some names out of here, but that was the transition from the kind of old school, kind of Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel, you know what I mean? Kind of old school rap into the rap that we know today to be kind of the golden era MC and DJ and rap. And Biz Markie was a part of that transition. Biz Markie is not just this, kind of, fun, kind of, comedic figure in hip hop. He's actually an individual who not only backed up Roxanne Shante, right, when Roxanne Shante was touring around and she took him on tour, but introduced Big Daddy Kane to the Juice Crew, right? Like, he is a part of the fabric of what we know today as modern MCing and DJing and even was a beatbox, and in the early 90s transitioned out of MCing and all that to become a DJ, and become this larger than life kind of personality that kind of was all about love and all about bringing hip hop together. And I saw a post, shout to Steve Stout, who talked about Biz Markie on behalf of other rappers will go to record labels and make sure that those rappers got the deals that they deserve. Not because he was managing them or got anything from it, other than him revering and understanding how valuable hip-hop was to selling records, how valuable it was to just overall culture in general, and the impact that this culture was just making on society and that these record labels would benefit from. A storyteller, I don't know if y'all remember the record Vapors. It's one of my favorite hip hop records all time, but like even his ability to break down and tell a story while being funny and sounding different and being this figure that is a one of one. He's a one of one individual in this hip hop culture. I just wanted to take the time to just say thank you. Because he contributed so much to this game that enables us all sitting right here having this conversation to make money talking about rap.
I want to add this little tidbit that I saw on social media that May said that Biz Markie inspired him to write 24 Hours to Live.
Right, I heard about this.
So that I guess that just that adds on to your story, to just how much he was an influence on the rappers, how much he was an influence on the culture. Because I didn't know that. I just literally found that out, 2 days ago. So 24 Hours to Live was one of my favorite records. So to have him inspire that record just goes to show how important he was to the culture. So,
Biz Markie would just call you. He would just call you. Just on some yo, this Biz. Just Biz on some check-in. I think he had a conversation with Siphon Rosenberg on their podcast, Juan Epstein, about 10 years ago that they republished around the passing of Biz Markie, where he was talking about how he just kept in touch with people. Everybody he came up with, he checked on. If there was somebody popping in hip-hop that was coming up, he would just create a relationship and check on them and see how he could help out. he was just that kind of dude who, and as he put it, he just said, tomorrow's not promised. And, you know, we're all here in this hip hop thing today, you know, and he would just check on people. So
that's a special kind of person. I think a lot of us get too caught up in our daily lives, just even checking on the people that we really love and we're the closest with. So that's really amazing. And also, you're still very young. 57 is so young. And I think that we all know that diabetes is something that, especially in the African-American community, Black community, we deal with a lot. I've lost people in my family to diabetes as well. So although we make fun of Ebro sometimes for his healthy lifestyle and his smoothies, you know what I mean? It's we should take it seriously. I did make myself an almond butter smoothie yesterday, trying, you know, we got to take care of ourselves because 57 is really too soon to be losing someone as amazing as Biz Markie.
We once again want to say rest in peace to Biz Markie. You will live forever. Thank you again, and to families, friends, and everybody affected by not only the loss of Biz Markie, but all of these losses that we've been dealing with, not only through COVID and the pandemic, but, you know, in hip hop. You know, it's just been a tough time. I found myself saying, you know, earlier when I was on the radio, just like, in some ways, I didn't even want to show up to work because I'm so tired of talking about death, and it just gets exhausting. But you realize that in our roles and having a microphone and having the honor and the platform to communicate, it's kind of our jobs to show up in these tough times. It is our jobs, so that people don't feel alone, and so that people could connect and people can share and, you know, and debate and laugh and play the music and get through it. So look, man, we together. This is the Rap Life Review from Nadeska and Low. I'm Ebro. We're here every single week running through the happenings in hip hop. Make sure you subscribe to this here conversation right there on the YouTube channel and add the playlist. It is called Rap Life. It is available in Apple Music. We will see y'all next week.